Okay, you guys, we have a special treat today because this is one of my very best buddies from high school.
Heck yeah.
Brian Draney. He is awesome. And we have so many stories that I probably shouldn't share. Not really.
We got a couple.
We were very innocent youth. So this is Brian Draney. He is the owner of Cornerstone Custom Painting and Palmetto Pools.
Yep.
And I told him if he came on my podcast, he has to give me a lazy river in my backyard. Because we're a really up and coming podcast, so I get my lazy river. I really actually want one, but my husband won't go for it.
We could record the podcast from
do it.
the lazy river.
While
we
we're
should do
floating,
it.
and then we can write it off, right? That
Yes,
would be a
yes.
business.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep,
Okay,
let's
it's
do
going to
it.
happen.
Okay.
So I've
call
known
it the-
Brian. Like, see, we graduated in '96. That
Yep,
kind of
since high
ages us.
school.
Yeah.
Yep.
You started out with painting.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about that and what you do or what you specialize in, who your ideal client is.
Sure. So we do residential and commercial painting. We've been doing that for approximately about 23 years.
And I've had Brian do my own house, you guys. So this
Yeah.
is not some rando.
Random person off the street, some crazy.
Rando.
Well, he is rando, but anyway.
But no, anyhow, I started when I was in college.
Yeah.
And so at the time, I had a roommate that was my mission companion, and he worked for a paint contractor.
Okay.
And so I was going to school up at the U. I was taking all my business classes, and at the time, I was like, well, that's great that I'm learning about marketing and human resources and management, but I wanted to try and put those principles, like apply everything.
Yeah.
And so my roommate came home one day and he's like, Brian, we need to start up a painting business, and I kind of
Okay.
laughed at him and I'm
Right.
like, Donald, you're crazy, dude. I said, I don't know anything about painting. He goes, no, that's fine. He goes, really, painting's not that hard. He goes, but you're really good at business. You're good at talking to people, going out. And so he goes, you have that personality. And ever since I was little, I just wanted to do my own thing.
Yeah.
I'm
Didn't want to work for other people.
yes,
Yep.
I'm very hard-headed where I don't take instruction well. You can ask my wife. She's over there nodding going, yep. And so, I wanted to do my own thing. I wanted to be in charge of myself.
Yeah.
I wanted to make goals for me. I didn't want
Like
to
my
work.
daughter said when she was 3, I want to do whatever I want.
Yeah. I didn't
Yeah.
want to work for the man.
Yeah, I think I was telling, was it
wish
you
I
or
had
my
that
husband, Eric,
personality.
that I said, I was like, I don't think I could work for somebody else at this point in my life. Like I couldn't, after doing my own thing for so long, I couldn't.
No, I couldn't.
I-
And
He's the opposite.
I'm fine being the silent number 2.
you're off in
Like,
the background just
I'm
doing your
fine
thing. And
He
being
loves
the-
being number
Yeah.
2.
yeah. Yeah, less stress.
Yeah.
That is true.
It is. It is.
That's one
And,
thing I
and you
do
can be
miss,
done at
but
5 o'clock
yes,
most of the time.
Yeah, I go home.
Not so much in mortgages, but anyway.
Well, I don't know. I like building the things and watching it grow, but I don't have to be or necessarily want to be the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I just
He
want
wants this.
Well, he does have a good face, though. I mean, look at the man. The
I
beard,
know.
it's coming in.
It's coming.
It's like a full-on half beard from
Yeah.
here down. It's great.
It's more than mine, so
great.
Okay, so you decide to start your own painting company in college.
So with my buddy, we started together, and so what we did is we went out to apartment complexes because
I remember that early on that you were into the apartment complex
Yeah,
thing.
'cause
You maybe
that's-
still are, but
No, not anymore. Well, yes and no. But anyhow, my buddy, that's what he worked for a paint contractor doing apartments. So he
Okay.
kind of knew that apartment painting and
Yep.
everything. So we started up, we went out, I started marketing. I just literally went to all the big apartment complexes and talked to either the manager or the maintenance manager.
Yep.
And so I got 2 of them that got in with me, and from there things just kind of took off. And so we were probably doing close to maybe 100 apartments a month is what we were painting.
yeah.
And so it was nice for
And
me.
were
'cause
you doing the paint yourself
we
at that
were,
point?
yeah.
Okay.
So
So
both
you
of
know
us-
when somebody's not doing a good job, you're like,
Yes.
"Ah." Okay.
so we were doing the painting ourselves, and for me it worked because going to school full time at the U, so I'd go to classes in the morning and then I'd work all afternoon and kind of evening, and I was free the rest of the night to study and do my my classes
Yeah.
and homework and stuff. Once I graduated, I decided, okay, I'm going to take a year off from school, and then I wanted to go to MBA school. I wanted to be a president or a CEO of a big company or whatever.
It's funny, like how we think those things, and then yeah.
It's and when I was younger, I never thought I would be in construction.
Right.
My idea growing up is I'm going to run a company. I'm going to wear a suit all day. And I quickly learned that wearing a suit all day
Is
and
not
being
your
in an
style.
office, I hated it.
Yeah.
And so when I was doing this, I was working for IHC, and I was in their accounting department, absolutely hated it. I hated
Yeah.
sitting at a desk all day,
Yeah.
you know, wearing a suit, wearing a tie. It was not,
Not
I
your style.
learned quickly it was not for me. You know, I needed to be out and about and kind of do my own thing. So we started that together. My buddy and I, we worked together for about a year. He went off and kind of did his own thing after, and I'd stayed ever since I stayed doing it.
Yeah.
And so little by little, people would ask me, hey, can you come paint a bedroom in our house? Yeah, sure, I'll come paint your bedroom. Hey, I've got a couple bedrooms. Hey, we're doing a basement. We're finishing a basement. You know, so just little by little
like that.
over the years, we kept growing. I kept getting more experience.
Yeah, because Brian painted like our new construction, like our whole house.
Yeah. And that was what, like 8 years, 9 years? No, how long ago
13.
was that? 13 years ago.
Like,
Wow.
we lived in it for 13 years,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm probably still one of his least favorite clients.
You were a pain in the ass, but
Yeah.
I still love you. Can I say that on the air?
I'm compulsive. We'll bleep it. It's fine. We have a, but like lines for me. Oh, I have such.
And see, and I'm a very.
But he did great. So
I'm really anal, like when it comes
Yeah.
to our work, and
Yeah.
so nowadays, I'm more known as kind of that higher end painter, and that's kind of the clientele I go after.
Yep.
Because that's more of our specialty now, and
Yeah.
so I have a specific eye. You
So,
know, when we go into
yeah,
those
when you
upper
go those-
custom
yeah.
homes.
So if you have somebody that's not in that, you know, like the custom homes, do you still bid those out, or
Oh,
do you
yeah.
have people that you
Yeah.
have do it or whatever?
No,
Okay.
for me it doesn't matter.
You
if
just
it's
really you know those kind. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it doesn't matter if say it's a $5 million house or if it's a $5,000 house. You know,
Right.
to me, the job is going to be the same.
Well, the 5,000 job, the paint will be peeling off the walls from the production of meth, but it's fine.
Probably. And we've done some
But he
meth
can fix-
houses before.
Oh my gosh.
They're not fun.
Yeah, yeah, we've actually had to deal with that a few times just
I
in
bet.
our line of work. If
I
all of a sudden
bet.
the meth test comes back positive, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
your
Like, oh,
housewife is
sweet little Betty,
she's
90-year-old.
cooking meth.
Yes.
That's sweet. Anyway.
Yes. We did a house, what was that, 2 summers ago in Draper? We did a meth house. And was it last year? Last year. No, man, it was a nightmare.
So gross.
And so, and the thing is with meth houses, there's a lot of variables that you just don't know
Yep.
until you're there. And so when we went and walked with the realtor to give him a bid, I think our bid was it was a big house in Draper. It was like $20,000 to do the whole interior of this house.
Yeah.
But after they had the cleaning company go through, the cleaning company, the meth, what do you call them?
Remediation.
The remediation
Yeah.
company went through, and they spray this liquid over
Everything.
everything. And the problem is that moisture
Sucks up.
it sucks into all the drywall, the
Yep.
baseboards, the casings. So as we
So
go
you do
there
a bid and then all of a sudden it's all
and
ruined.
it changed because now
Oh,
we're
no.
walking through this house going, oh my gosh, all this baseboard now is like totally just swelled up, or there's big drywall areas where now there's
gosh.
big bubbles in
A lot
it.
of times they even have to take out drywall depending on the severity of stuff. It's it's surprisingly a huge problem in Utah.
Yeah,
But
yeah. And
Well,
so
with our other podcast, we learned it's one of the reasons is because we have such a low threshold. Like
oh yeah, Utah actually has a low threshold of what's allowable.
Yeah.
oh really?
Yeah,
that's
so
one
they
of the
show,
scary.
but they have a low threshold, meaning that more people show up as a failed meth test.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Right, so it's actually better that
I
it
got
picks
ya.
it up sooner.
So these aren't the real numbers, but like for example, the rest of the United States is like a 4, and Utah's like a 1.
So that's why we, Utah's this meth, whatever. It's know that we have higher standards
Yeah.
Okay.
as far as quality, but yeah, on that at least.
Yeah, we learned that in one of our other podcast
Well, yeah, our
episodes.
home inspector,
Yeah.
he was like, yeah, it's because of that. Anyway, but okay, so you do the home painting, and honestly, like when I went to Brian and said, I can see a waiver in my lines, he came and fixed it, and he didn't give me crap about it. He says I'm a pain.
He's silently complaining.
He went
I was
home
complaining
and
under my
badmouthed
breath.
me.
Gosh,
He
dang
badmouthed me.
it.
I'm sure of it. But like they just did it and got it done for me, and I loved it. And I refer everybody
Yep.
to Brian on Connect Utah and a lot of other anytime anybody
Yep.
is asking. So, and then recently, how many years have you been doing the pool thing? 3?
So we started that last year.
Was it?
Yeah,
I
just
thought
recently.
it was 3 years. So he started this pool company.
Yep.
Tell us about that, because I know that a lot of my neighbors couldn't get a pool for like 2 years, or there was like waiting lists.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So we started pools 2 years ago. Having doing painting for so long, I got to kind of a position where the company was kind of running by itself.
Yep.
My wife Yali's been helping me with the painting business, so it kind of gave me a little bit
Freed
more
you up.
time. And seriously, we were looking for, as we get older, we're kind of thinking about retirement.
Yeah.
You know,
We're
and
honestly,
so old. No, well, not that old. We feel like it, but
I fell and broke my hip the other day.
yeah.
It's fine.
But anyhow, as you get older, you start thinking about retirement. You start thinking about money.
Right.
You know, and one of the...
And being self-employed.
Well,
yeah.
Yes and no. And so, like, one of the biggest failures I did as a business owner earlier is I didn't stock away money.
Yeah.
You know, for
I think a lot of
retirement.
people don't, because if you're not doing like a 9 to 5 or where you have a 401k that just automatically takes
It's
it
hard.
out, it's very natural to
Yeah.
spend it. And it's just all of a sudden it's gone. And then you're sitting here at 45 going, oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to retire
What do I
in 20
do?
years. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that reality hit me, and I started to think, okay, I've got to come up with another business idea. My wife and I, we've only been married for 5 years, and so we wanted to maybe start something together.
Yeah.
You know, that she could also be a part of and have something, you know, be involved with something
Yeah.
too. And so 3 years ago, we built a pool in our backyard.
By yourselves?
No. So, well,
Okay.
yes and no.
Okay.
So we did it, but my wife has a
It was
really
like
good
practicing
friend.
to build mine.
Yes,
Okay.
that's when we do your
Yeah.
river pool next year. And so this spring we're going to start.
Yeah.
And so
Tell my husband it's
I gotta
free, and
make
I'll
sure
just
my
slowly,
wife-
I'll
I
just
know,
slowly
right?
like funnel money to you.
I gotta make sure my wife doesn't listen to this one because she's
She's gonna want a pool, huh?
Dude, Savannah loves pools.
She's
Anyway.
like a mermaid. Anyway, sorry.
So, but anyhow, we did a pool in our backyard, and we just did a small one. My wife has a friend who's been in the pool industry 25 years. He's a small subcontractor who doesn't do everything from start to finish.
Okay.
And at the time when we were doing our pool, I had probably 10 painting clients that were doing pools at the same time.
Interesting.
And so while we were doing our pool, you know, I was so enthralled with the whole building process. I've just always had like a creative mind where I like to build stuff, I like to make stuff. And so I'd ask all my clients, hey, how's your experience going with your pool builder? Guess what every single one of them said? What do you guys think?
The worst.
Yeah.
Every single one of them said it's horrible. They don't communicate. They never show up when they say they do.
That drives me nuts with contractors.
And that's me as a contractor for over 20 years. I always try and do that.
Right.
If I'm going to say I'm going to do something,
Yeah,
I'm
you
going to
show
follow up
up.
and do it. And
See,
so
we always laugh because we're like, how it does not seem hard to me to do what you
What you're
said.
supposed to do,
What you're
or you
supposed
know
to do.
you're gonna do.
And to me, it seems like the bare minimum,
Yeah.
right? I said I'd be there at 3, so
yeah.
I'll be there.
Or
Maybe at
least-
3:05.
Or
but
if you're not, send a text.
Right,
You know,
something.
just saying, hey, I'm running a little bit behind. I'll be
I
there in
ended
an
up
hour.
having to hire a different HVAC company because the place told me probably no less than 5 times that they were coming
Yeah.
and just didn't show.
Just ghosted, yeah.
And I was like, hey, I'm hiring somebody else. And I make sure everyone knows
And
not to
that's
use them.
standard. What's weird is that standard for as long as I've been in this industry for contractors.
It is.
That's kind of like the stigma
It's like
of being a
okay for them to be
contractor.
flaky.
And so when people ask me, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a contractor. You know, and I got to like hide, you know, the stigma that we as
Yeah.
contractors have.
Well, they've earned it.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately.
Well, most of them, well, not most of them, but a lot of them.
Right.
Let's say that.
Right. There's a lot
And
of them.
so-
And there's some really excellent ones. So you saw, obviously, people were not happy with that and
Yeah.
probably saw it and were like, hey, I can get into that.
And so when I sat and reflected, I kind of a light went off in my head and said, here's an opportunity that,
Right.
you know, I have business experience with my company over the past 20 years where I've made Cornerstone painting really successful. And I've built kind of on that image of high quality standards.
Yep.
So I could take those same principles in my painting company and build a pool
Yeah.
company. And so in where we had Jose, a good friend who's been in the industry forever, he knows all the contacts. So we had a really
you
good
had a
relationship.
quick hookup with the right people.
So he knew all the people. He could introduce us to all the good subcontractors and so forth. And so we were at a baseball tournament in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and I was talking to my wife and I said, hey, let's do it. Let's start up a pool company. And she's like, you're crazy. Or what did you
You probably
tell me?
say that a lot to Brian
Yeah.
about a lot of things, right?
She always tells me I'm crazy. And so we did. So literally on the plane on Delta flying home, I sat and made a logo.
Yeah.
Came up with the name Palmetto Pools. And what's interesting is Palmetto is actually the state tree of South Carolina.
Oh, funny.
Where we went
Yeah.
on our vacation.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, so we started it. We came home, we talked to Jose, and we said, hey, if we start this up, what do you think about, helping us? And
Yeah.
we'll hire
Work
you
together or
and
whatever.
work together and everything. And so it is. So last year we did 4 pools. I think this year we're going to do 12 pools.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's the thing. There's a huge demand for it.
There is.
And I'm sure COVID kind of was a big thing too, because everyone's at home and wanting something to do in their backyard. But my neighbors, like, they were literally on a list for 2 years to get a pool.
Cow.
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, I even, before I knew you were going to do pools, I was like, that is a huge business opportunity if you came into it and had the infrastructure to go and build pools. You could get so much, it's probably as much business as possible. Yeah, as much as you'd like.
Yeah.
And it's like that in St. George too, in Vegas, because every house has a pool there pretty much. But
yeah, definitely the pool industry in Utah has completely exploded.
It totally has, because when we were kids,
nobody had like 2 people that had a pool.
And now it's like everybody wants a pool in their backyard. I have an above ground white trash pool, and I love it.
You still get wet. Let's do your river pool and
I know.
be done with it.
Well, a lot of my things are like temporary. Like, I just need this for this year because Brian's building me a free pool.
A river pool as well. Pool. Yes. But anyhow, that's how we kind of got into the pool industry.
Yeah.
And it's been fun. It's been a blast.
Okay, so tell our folks how they would get in touch with you for either painting or the pool stuff, because these are 2 separate entities.
Yeah, 2 separate businesses.
But do you have 2 separate phone numbers or one phone number?
No, one phone number.
Okay, so give us the phone number.
Yep, phone number is 801-918-9014.
And I have his number too. And so if you can't remember him, come to me and I'll get it for you. And then Palmetto Pools.
Yep.
You have a Facebook page for that.
I do. It's Palmetto Pools of Utah.
Of Utah, okay.
And then also I have a Facebook for Cornerstone, which is Cornerstone Custom Painting.
Okay. So look for him there. Do you have websites as well? Or just do everything for Facebook?
So if you go to my Facebook pages
it's all
for
there.
Both Palmetto Pools and Cornerstone, you'll find my phone number. You'll find websites, links. I've got pictures, videos of jobs, everything on there. Yep.
And I've known him long enough that, like, I would trust you to come do a pool in my yard and that it would be done well, because he doesn't want me to be that pain in the A like he
calling it midnight. Hey,
I want to swim tomorrow. Can you come out? But anyway, so call him. And like, I've had experience with the paintings, so I call you all the time where I'm like, how much would it? Oh, and you do custom, like, you do cabinets too.
Yeah, so we do cabinet repainting,
and exterior
refacing. We do exterior painting.
Yeah, that was one of the things I didn't realize when you were just doing paint, like custom painting or whatever, that you could paint. I'm going to actually paint the outside of my house at some point. It's a new house, so I can't justify it to my husband. But,
you don't want to do it pink?
Maybe.
No.
One wall. Just one
Just
side.
one wall.
Just all the trim.
The back wall, so
I
the
want it
neighbors
to look
don't
like a
see
circus tent, so all the trim. Oh, yeah, the board and batten.
Depends on what the HOA says,
They don't care. We're out in, like, Taylor. It's unincorporated.
Out in the middle of nowhere.
I'm just kidding. But what was my point? I usually get derailed. Exactly. But anyway, he does a great job. So they do exterior homes. They do cabinet refinishing. And I repainted my own cabinets. And I wish I had called Brian, because
it's a lot of work.
It would. Yes, it is a lot of work. And it would have looked a lot better than what I pulled off. So anyway, give him a call. But thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
It's been fun seeing you and harassing you yet again.
Yeah,
and he
fun.
brought in his Garbage Pail Kids for me to see. So that was
back
that
from
was
elementary, my collection of Garbage Pail Kids.
It's amazing.
So I think the next business you need to do is a plumbing company, just because your last name.
No, I know. So my last name is Draney.
You should.
Draney.
So all grown up. So grown up.
Can
in
I
elementary,
start it and then you don't actually do it? But
everybody'd always call me Drano. Hey Drano. Hey
gosh.
Drano. That was.
Do you want to know what people called me with the last name of Affleck?
What?
Affleck.
No,
Affleck.
that and ASSLICK.
Oh.
I'm not going to say it on my podcast. But thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you for having me, guys.
Definitely give Brian a call. He does a great job. And
Yep. Thank you.